One time for your mind, two times for your drinks. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. Tonight's topic, are we still down? Are we still down? HBCU's loyalty and legacy. Let's get into the show. It's time for Nightcap Knowledge. This episode of Nightcap Knowledge is brought to you by Tougaloo Alumni Weekend 2025. It all gets us to the gate. TougalooAlumni.com is where you can get your ticket and register for other events. Get to the gate, ladies and gentlemen. Tougaloo Alumni Weekend, Lou City, baby. Let's go.
Man, if I felt any better, my name would be DJ George Chuck.
Amen. Amen. I claim all of it. And I will acknowledge that, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have not been here weekly. We are on a every 2 week or a bi-weekly schedule. We have a number of things going on. We've got CJ Lawrence coming in to give us an exclusive report for some things that are developing in Hattiesburg. For those of you that are tuning in from Black with No Chaser, you may already be familiar with it to some extent. If you're not, you will get a chance to hear from CJ Lawrence, attorney CJ Lawrence, in this regard. So we look forward to CJ jumping on, but we also have to give you a reminder. Mac, you want to go ahead and give them that disclaimer and their signal?
Let me see if I remember.
Sorry.
This show right here is rated Black.
We got
real issues, real solutions.
We're gonna tell it like it.
T.I. is.
Amen. 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 All right. All right. Now look. Tonight's topic. Are we still down? Before we get deep into that topic, we're gonna bring CJ on into the studio. We always got to give good people their applause. We got brother Dr. CJ Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen. Let him come in his own way.
What's happening, brothers? What's happening, man? How y'all doing?
Hey, man, we holding in the road, bro. How you feeling?
I see y'all doing what y'all do, man. I appreciate y'all having me on tonight, man. I definitely will stick around for the festivities as it relates to holding it in road for the schools, but I did want to update y'all with what's going on in Hattiesburg and what has really been going on for almost the last 2.5 years now.
Yeah.
It'll be 2 years in October that Donovan Barnes and the family of Donovan Barnes tragically he tragically had his life taken by a driver named Andrew Cook, who was driving a vehicle in Lamar County, which is basically part of Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
And in hitting Donovan, he hit him and ran. As a result of that, there was an ongoing investigation that was supposed to have taken place, and that investigation led to a grand jury hearing where he should have been indicted. The Lamar County District Attorney's Office failed to indict him at that time for a very clear, in my mind, incident. If you look on Facebook right now, I've currently shared photographs of the Forerunner. As you can see, if you look at the Forerunner, you will see a dent in the hood of the vehicle. Now, if there's a dent in the hood of the vehicle, it is almost a certainty that a person would see either someone or something having hit that vehicle. It would be virtually impossible to be a human being with sight and not be aware that you hit something or someone that caused that level of damage to your vehicle. And yet, even with these photographs in hand, Lamar County was unable to indict them. And now this is a case where the dynamics and the optics make it look like, more effort could have been made. And what I mean by that is Donovan Barnes was a young black man, and the young man who hit him is a young white man. And that would be crazy enough. Just looking at those photographs would be crazy enough if that was where it ended. But that's not where it ended. Because Andrew Cook was not indicted for the death of Donovan Barnes in March of 2025, because he was not indicted, subsequently, Andrew Cook was back on the road today in that very same Forerunner that you saw in that photograph. Now, I don't know if it looked the way it looks in the photograph, but I know that on today, a young lady went live after experiencing something horrendous. She stated that essentially a man was driving erratically and nearly ran her off the road. Probably was going about, she perceived it as about 80 miles per hour at the time. She was able to dodge him at that time. Mm-hmm. Subsequently, the same man got behind her at some point and again ran her off the road. Now she got off the road voluntarily to avoid him running her off again, right? We don't think this necessarily was intentional, but we're not sure what would have caused that behavior. It was also a black Forerunner. In addition to it being a black Forerunner, this black Forerunner subsequently, after she dodged to miss it, ran to the other side of the road and into oncoming traffic, into an oncoming Chevy Silverado, hitting it head to head. It was the very same man who in March of 2025 was not indicted for the hit and run. It's a lot that goes into this, and there's a lot of details that come with it. But it is our belief, because Lamar County had put the case up. Lamar County District Attorney's Office said they weren't going to reopen or attempt to re-indict it without any additional and new evidence. It is our belief that this is new and additional evidence. In the last case that Andrew Cook, when Andrew Cook hit Donovan Barnes, the night that he hit him, the night that this occurred, we know for a fact that DNA was found on Andrew Cook's truck. Blood was found on Andrew Cook's truck. We see the dent on Andrew Cook's truck. In addition to seeing all of those things on Andrew Cook's truck, we also know and are aware that he at some point contacted his mother. He and his mother went back to the scene of the crime. They did not report. They did not call it. It was not until 2 weeks later that he came in, a week or 2 weeks later, that he came in and turned himself in after it was put out to through media that that a hit and run had occurred and Donovan's body had been discovered. Okay, that's the only time that they came in. There was no report made. Now you see that vehicle. There's no report that was made to insurance ever with regard to this. Right? So that wasn't even an insurance claim file. No accident report file. The police were not contacted on the night in question. He went home that night. But the reason he went back out there that night is because he knew something had to have happened that night. And in spite of that, the investigation as well as the prosecution were incapable of using just this very evidence that they have that we have right before you now to indict someone, to say that something tragic occurred that night. There was a violent impact that night, and that violent impact resulted in someone's death, and yet nothing occurred because no one intervened, no one made a phone call, and any of those things possibly could have made a difference in a life or death situation. But those things didn't occur that night. And now to have that same person driving erratically again and nearly cost 3 more people their lives today, I think it speaks volumes to why, one, this is probably going to be something that needs to be looked into. The young lady, I actually had the opportunity to speak with her myself, stated that that the man, had a look in his eyes that he did not look to be all there at the time of the incident. And she was adamant that she was terrified for her life at the time she was run off the road.
So all right, CJ, let me ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
All right, let me make sure I'm understanding this from the vantage point of a driver that is on the road in their vehicle with a black truck. That the recent black truck is hit by a black SUV.
Yes.
Before the black SUV hits the black truck, another person dodges this black SUV.
Correct.
And then also sees this black SUV run into this black truck.
Yes. So she was an eyewitness to the entire incident. She is the person who made the phone call. She is the person who she is the person who made this phone call. She is the person who articulated to the officers what occurred, and she articulated what she was perceiving at the time. She subsequently also provided a statement to the officers. Now, my question is, was a field sobriety test conducted on this gentleman? Was a field sobriety test conducted? Did they do blood work?
All of this. My next question is, where the hell is he now, right now? Well,
we don't know. But what we do know is that this occurred in the same county. It happened in Lamar County, which is the same place where they failed to indict him before. And I
got a lot of questions.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, I got time. To be honest with you, I got time.
CJ, I'm putting my Charles Holmes pre-law cap back on.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
Hey, stuff like this is maybe like, I wish I had went ahead and went to law school. So I would go back and say, okay, what is the practice of Lamar County AD and Sheriff Department for handling situations like this? Right. What are cases where there was a black man and for the victim, black man for the driver, white? How was this handled differently? There has to be similar cases somewhere, even if the time frame is 5 or 10 years.
That's
down.
A great
How
question.
Was it handled?
So what I would say, Mac, is a very similar case that I am close to. And so I'm going to be cautious in how I speak about it.
There you go.
A very similar case occurred in Forest County, Mississippi. And in that case, the man who hit again, it was a white man who hit a young black man who was walking home. He hit and killed him and fled from the scene. It was later found through video footage that it was, in fact, him that did it. Has subsequently been charged with and convicted of murder. for a hit and run in Hattiesburg, Forest County, Mississippi. So Hattiesburg is in 2 counties. It's in Forest County and Lamar County.
Right.
Right. So the Forest County Circuit Court took that case. The DA's office was able to indict the case that they had, and subsequently not only indict it, but get a conviction in it. The facts in this case are very similar. What they were trying to lean on in the Lamar County case is his level of knowledge, whether he knew or was unaware that he had actually hit someone or didn't hit someone. But what he did know, what he was certain of, is that he hit something. He was so certain that he hit something that even though he didn't stop immediately, he went back to the scene of the crime with his mom. Right? They did not call insurance. They did not call police, but they knew he hit something that led to the damage that you saw on that vehicle just then. Right. And so our position is not that he intended to hit somebody at the time that he hit them. Our position is that that whether he intended to or not, he did not intend to render aid or render help as a result. And when that intention formed, that's when the crime started to occur at that time.
But CJ, help me out, right? All right. So that's when you kill someone unintentionally, that's how you get manslaughter, right?
Right.
Vehicular manslaughter should be what's on the table, but also you fled the scene of a crime. You fled the scene of an accident, which also carries time. Right. When you fail to report,
when you flee the scene, it goes from manslaughter to murder at that point, because it becomes a reckless disregard for another person's life.
So did they take when they did it, right, in that time frame, do you know if any blood work or testing was done when he did admit that he hit something to see was he under any type of influence? Because how did you miss something big as whatever it may be to cause that dent? Did they ever do any technical
night? So Mac, he did not even report that night. That it was not until
I'm saying even when he
it was not until the family of Donovan Barnes got involved and was conducting an investigation on their own to see what happened to their brother, happened to their son, that eventually, maybe 10 to 14 days later, he finally turned himself in after essentially a search for what happened occurred, and it was
in the area. So the family had been doing a search.
Him. They went looking for him and found found his body. So.
But CJ, either alcohol or cocaine would be the only 2 things that would have been out of his system in 14 days.
What I can say is that the young
lady was still been in his system.
The young lady that was observing him today said that, based on her observation, she felt like that maybe he was under the influence of something.
They got 3 days. They need to test him tomorrow.
It was her belief. I'm not saying that he wasn't. I can't confirm. I was not there, but it is our understanding, based on the observation of someone who was there, that that was their perception, and they made that known to the officers as well. That was their perception, and the victims also
sheriffs or
I believe it was the Lamar County Sheriff's Department. I believe it was. Now I'm not sure.
Where was it? It was on the highway, CJ, or where was it on a local road?
It happened on a road that appeared to be a 2-way road, a winding road.
Okay.
If you look in the video, you can kind of see the road. You can kind of see it on not a video, but on the picture of the head-on collision. If you look at you can see there's kind of a curve in the road.
Yeah.
So as you can see, his car is on the whole other side of the road in that photograph right there.
Yeah.
So you can see very clearly that whatever he was doing, there's literally no justification or way that you can articulate outside of I was swerving to miss something, which he wasn't doing. He almost ran another person off the road. So the person who took the photograph is the person who got ran off the road. So that they wouldn't be the black truck instead of the black truck, to be honest with you.
So like the situation happened in Hines County, right? The white lady that took the life of a young lady and her baby.
Right.
she had multiple DUIs and they kept letting her off. And they were like, what is the connection between this woman and this judge who kept leading her off? So
Yeah.
what is the connection to his family? And I say family, right? Because we understand we're in Mississippi.
Now, you asking the right questions. You asking the right questions, Mac. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you asking the right questions. We believe that we have knowledge, and so I'm being careful right here. This ain't CJ being CJ with a chaser. This is CJ being mindful of some outstanding issues that we have to navigate.
Get him in the horn. Yeah.
What I'm saying to you, Mac, is it seemed Teflon, don't it? And because it seems Teflon, you are asking some of the right questions. We are of the belief that we have discovered some dynamics there that would lead to there being, at least some level of relationship that usually we don't have aren't privy to or privilege or have the privilege of. And as a result of that, we don't get the same types of accommodations that other people may receive. And so you're asking the right questions, and I would ask people to follow the trail as it leads to that. But mainly, I think the thing that the call to action now is Lamar County. You ask for new evidence. You got new evidence. That new evidence is that there is a clear, and I'm not going to say there's a clear propensity, but there is at least a pattern of recklessness that involves this young man and driving that vehicle and nearly killing people. Right? I don't know what his state of mind was. I don't know what his condition was at the time, but I think that that's a question that they have to ask this time. And if he winds up with a driving, because at the very least it's going to be a civil matter. That is arising out of this, right? Arising out of this instance. But that civil matter might also, have to do, incorporate the Lamar County Sheriff's Department as well as because of their failures, right? Because of their failures to investigate and their inability to indict on that first case. It resulted in him being out on the street. And was it foreseeable? That's what you begin to ask yourself. Is it foreseeable that because you failed to do your job the last time, 3 more people almost lost their lives today?
Right.
And if you had done your job, would it have been sufficient? Because I will tell you, man, in my 15 years of practicing, bro, in my 15 years of doing this, I don't know how you have a car with a dent in the hood and say we can't prove that this man knew something. I don't know I don't know if you ever ran over anything, bro. Just ran over something in the middle of a pothole.
Let me jump in right here. I'm from Mobile, Alabama. Mac is from Lexington, Mississippi. CJ is from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I grew up hunting. I hunted in my backyard for squirrel, for anything that honestly moved that could end up in a pot. All right. I've been on back roads, 2-lane back roads. I'm telling y'all this because look, like Max say, I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. Mm-hmm. I know what it feels like to hit a deer.
Yes.
Let's say that a deer weighs the same thing or around the same thing as a human. Let's say that. Let's say it's a doe. You ain't got to worry about no horns or anything like that, right? If you hit an animal, you know that you hit that animal. Mm-hmm. If you are of sober mind, sober judgment, you understand that leaving the woods, and you like, God dog it, I ain't see nothing. All I heard was
yep.
And you come out of the woods, you get in your vehicle and you headed home because it's dark, because you're trying to follow the rules, because you don't want the game warden coming looking for you. You hear a deer, you're gonna be like, hold on, I need to stop and see what that was.
Right. Immediately.
Also, you want to assess the damage, but that's sober mind, sober judgment.
You're gonna put your signal lights on. You're gonna pull over to the side of the road. you're gonna get out and check out what just occurred.
You grabbing your handy dandy flashlight.
But you said a person. If you hit a stick, if you hit a pothole,
yeah,
if you hit anything. But here's what I'm going to ask you, CJ. One, did they pull his driving record? Right. So if he's driving erratic like this on a regular basis, I mean, he should have multiple tickets unless somebody been fixing them. Right. He should have been in the court for traffic violations. Two, his license should have been suspended because he left the scene of a crime. If anything, he should not have had license.
Right.
No, even though they failed to indict.
If protocol had been followed, that's the line of
right.
If protocol, I'm gonna tell you this, we all pledge. Let us not follow when 81 come home and protocol wasn't followed.
Right.
Oh, let's say that the chain of so-called evidence ain't followed. They throwing stuff out. So in this particular situation, why was protocol not followed?
Well, I will tell you that and D is commenting. D is actually the brother of Darian. He raised Darian. I'm sorry. D is actually the brother of Donovan. I'm saying that wrong. Okay. So you see D in the comments. He's been fighting for his family. He and his sister Denisha, they've been fighting for their family. And they done an adamant job of it, man. And to be honest with you, the resistance that this thing has been met with, bro, we've sat down with the district attorney's office face to face, and we've asked them the tough questions. I've sat down with them and asked them face to face. You don't find it interesting? You don't find it questionable that this family, upon assessing the damage of this vehicle, one, they didn't contact anybody the night that it occurred. Even if they went back out there, they still knew something happened to the car. They didn't report it the next day to insurance. They didn't report it at all to insurance ever. You don't think that that's funny? You don't think that it's funny that they did not want a paper trail with regard to this? As a DA, you don't think that that's interesting? You don't find that questionable?
Come on.
And here in this instance, this is what's going to happen, y'all. In this instance, they're going to have to report it to insurance. Last time they said they didn't want to report it to insurance because they were just gonna handle it. Now that was, y'all saw the damage to that vehicle. That's a significant amount of damage to that Forerunner. That was gonna cost a few $1,000s to get that fixed, right?
Toyota, anything gonna cost you some bread.
It's gonna cost you some money to get that fixed. Of course, you're gonna report that to insurance if you're not trying to hide something. This time around, if he has insurance, it's gonna be reported to insurance this time.
Because I know that the folks that got hit.
If the police showed up, you gotta the folks that got hit survived. So that means that there's gonna be insurance that's going to be occurring this time around, right? So if they report this to the insurance this time and fail to report it the last time, then now what is that saying about them failing to report it the last time?
That's a pattern, right? That's a pattern, right?
That's a pattern.
You just so here's the great thing about it, CJ, and we see this in a lot of different cases, that because of what happened to the young man did not get justified. The people that were hit today can use what happened as pattern for to file a lawsuit. Right. Now, here's a question. Here, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The lady that was ran off the road and the people that were hit, were they both black, or were they?
The lady that was run off the road was a black woman. The people that was hit, was the man that was here was a white man, and his daughter was behind him in her driving, trailing him, and his daughter was trailing him.
Okay.
So
now watch things happen a little different.
Yeah, they're gonna have to move on it. They're gonna have to move on it. One, because he survived, right? He survived, and in addition to him surviving, like you said, you know what I mean, the complexion for the protection. And ultimately they can't skirt insurance this time. But to me, as a police officer or as the district attorney, that's the question was never that it was never asked. Why didn't you report it to insurance? To me, shows a failure that you don't fail to ask us. You see what I'm saying? That the reason, it is my belief that the reason that Andrew Cook was not indicted the first time around was because he got asked questions that a young white man get asked versus questions that any of us would have gotten asked. And he got prosecuted in a way that a young white man who they didn't want to indict.
He has a future, CJ.
He's a young guy with his whole life ahead of him. He
has a future.
He wasn't trying to do
going
this.
Somewhere.
You know what I mean? He's going to school.
He might just work at the local hardware.
He killed 3 more people today because
but he didn't mean to do it.
The way in which he was questioned versus the way in which we would have been questioned, the way we would have been investigated. And so all we are asking is that you investigate everybody the same damn way you do us. Treat them the same way you do us, and indict when an indictment is necessary.
Did he ever go to jail for anything? Did he go to jail at all?
I think he might have. To be honest with you, I don't want to be a liar. What I know is he self-reported on going up there, but initially he didn't go up there first. His parents went up there before he did. His parents went up there before he did. So they talked to his parents.
Okay, let me tell you shit that CJ
They talked to his mom before they talked to him.
What'd you say, man?
Goddamn.
And this a grown man, dog. It's a grown man. This wasn't no child.
How old is he?
A grown man.
How old is he?
His parents talked to them before they talked before they.
How old is he? How old is he?
Now I don't know exactly how old he is, but he was at least 18 at the time of the incident.
Listen, bro.
So he was no longer a minor as it relates to the law.
No. This is the same old good old boy white privilege. When you go, you know the sheriff, you know the police, y'all hang out, y'all play golf, y'all go fishing and go hunting together. So, he's in trouble again. We need your help. So they already had mapped the shit out how they were going to do it.
So look, all I'm gonna say is you called it. You just look. You read between the lines.
We don't get that.
You read between the lines that I was trying. So if somebody can
we've seen this book.
Man, if you got the number in your cell phone, and you
we on our way up there.
Push the button and say,
hey, got in trouble again.
What do we do?
Again.
And you can call somebody and ask them, what do we do? And that person tells you, this is probably what you need to do. And then you get a concierge service versus what we would get. They would have kicked down the motherfucking door at our house. They would have kicked down the door if you was missing for 2 weeks and they found out you did some shit.
Well, you know the same thing happened up here. A white lady hit a Hispanic guy.
Nobody mama that could have called and said we gonna bring them up there. They would have dragged them out the motherfucking house, and that's just the truth.
They listen. They had a white lady hit a Hispanic guy. Did the same shit, right? They got the same playbook, same storybook. I didn't know what I hit. I was afraid. You hit a whole person, right? This is the same shit, and they have enough time to make calls, call in favors, do all this shit to cover it up, and they try to sweep it under the rug.
What your story needs to be. 2 weeks is enough time to get your story together in a way that makes some shit that you did that was bad not as bad.
You know, there's a TV show right here, CJ. CJ, this is a TV show on Netflix right now.
I'm telling you,
it's called Your Honor. I'm not Your Honor, but I forgot the name of it. But it's the same. Yeah. This is the same scenario, right? The son hit somebody. Yeah, the judge's son hit somebody. Yeah. He fled. Then he made his phone call, and they tried to cover it up and made the shit 20 times worse. The same family that he just let go. But this is what happens, right? You got to understand. We're talking about a system that dealt with the Scott sisters. We're talking about a system where a young man, that the case that we had talked about last year, young man was running for his life. He told his mother that he think the people he worked with were trying to kill him. He ran to the police station. The police wouldn't let him in. Several months later, they found his remains at a deer camp.
My God.
Right? This is the same shit when they look like us. This is not by this is not by chance. This is not no conspiracy theory bullshit.
No, it's
There's
not
no such thing as conspiracy theory. They do this shit to our folks on a regular basis. At the same time, while you got an investigation going on all across the state where other stuff is happening, and they keep getting slaps on the wrist or no slaps at all, released back to the public because they got a future. Now
Yeah.
you have a straight A student that be in a car with somebody else and they'll throw him away because
Yes.
he's a criminal, because he looked like us. Because you made your mind believe that he's a criminal.
Right.
Yeah.
But he ain't do nothing.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you throw him away with everybody else.
And so that's the thing.
That,
Yo, you keep going, man. Keep going. Yo, keep going.
no. So I mean, it ties into what we're talking about now, the relevance of HBCUs, right?
That's it.
HBCUs, will we be able to sit in a pre-law society like at Tougaloo College and call a spade a spade? We ain't got to tiptoe around the issue. We could talk about racism and the justice system going hand in hand. We could talk about how that if depending on what color you are and where you are, you get away with this, or you going to prison for that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to tiptoe.
Yeah.
That's why it's important for us to have our own platform, our own place, be able to speak and communicate without having to point to our hand when we talk about white folk. You know,
Right.
we can't even say the color. We got to point to our hand.
We can't even write the word on. We can't even write the word on social media, though.
The inside of my damn hand almost as black as the rest of my damn body. What I'm pointing to this for. But that's how we've been conditioned that we can't even talk about stuff openly when it's the truth, because they keep doing the same shit to our folks.
And if we continue to walk in this
again.
legacy, if we continue to walk in this legacy, not the one where we stand up. If we continue to walk in this legacy where we don't say what we mean and mean what we say, if we don't continue to support the people that are in certain places and spaces, and be their security, be their eyes, maintain these networks, maintain these means of communication, we not down. We won't have legacy. We don't have loyalty if we continue to walk down that road. Look, now I'm not saying that we're doing that. The three of us, I think we're walking the path that our forefathers left for us. The people that ushered us into this Tougaloo existence that we live in, we find ourselves in moments like this, helping other folk that, I mean, as the brother D said in the comments, he's like, you know, without CJ, all of this shit would have been dead. So I want to say thank you publicly to CJ and to attorneys like CJ that don't shy away from these types of situations. But then also thank you to the family for having courage and sense and loyalty enough to speak up and fight for the person that you love. And in this situation, now you are fighting for your entire community, because this has to be a reoccurring thing. Like we only know about 2 times right now. We know about 2. What if there are more?
I was about to say that, Chuck, that we need to be having that conversation with the young lady that was ran off the road to help push her case, because we don't know which way the case is going to go with the white gentleman that was hit. But the young lady has evidence that she was ran off the road by the same car, and using that to get her to file her own separate case, file her own separate charges, to make sure that she go at this a different way. Once her charges are filed, use her charges as evidence to prove that we need to reopen this case where the young man lost his life, to show that there's pattern. Now we need to go deeper to find out, prior to him being murdered, was there any other situations similar to this, where he ran a stop sign or hit an animal or whatever the case may be? Because and Chuck know this, we had the same conversation on this platform when my cousin was killed. Same conversation, right? And in her case, they got a little racket where if they see a car on the side of the road, the state trooper would call the tow truck and they come pull the car. She had just had the accident. I've seen cars on the side of the road around here in the city of Jackson on 220. They've been there for 3-4 days.
Don't just say Jackson, because I'd have seen them up and down 49, 55, and everywhere in between.
Doing that speed racing?
She had
no,
an
abandoned car
parked on the side of the road. Yeah, somebody had a flat or whatever, but she had the accident that's damage to the front of her car, back of her car. Her groceries are inside the car. her keys and wallet inside the car. You had it towed. Never filed an accident report. Never done anything. And the only time only reason they looked for her because her sister reported her missing. You towed her car, moved it from the scene without investigating anything. Who leaves a car full of groceries, ID, and damage?
That's crazy.
But you were worried about getting a tow fee because that's what y'all do. They call it in, call the tow truck in,
revenue.
and you pay that man a couple $100. So pretty much she lost her life over a couple $100. But either way, they handled the situation wrongfully. And then once they handled it like that, you couldn't go back and say, well, I fucked up. I did it because I was trying to get a couple extra $100. They just rolled it on out. And they found her body 15 days later. Right. So the shit in Mississippi, shit. You can't make a movie. You can't make a movie to really tell the story of all the shit that happens in this state. But what we can do with this situation, since it get brought to light, let's see how can we support the families that are involved, CJ, and then what can we do as folks that are watching us across the state and across the country? How can we support the family and bring light to this subject? What can we do?
Thank y'all for the platform. You know, I appreciate what y'all do. I saw this as like this is where we wanted to make this, announcement when this occurred. We want to get on Nightcap and make a statement about it. What the people can do right now is one, share the story. We're trying to get it out there. We want people to see what the DA's office obviously didn't see or ignored, which is a big 4Runner, a SUV with a dent on the hood, and somebody saying they didn't see that they hit something. And them believing or taking that at face value and being unable or saying that they were unable to secure an indictment with photographs of a dent on the hood of a car, not on the front of a car, not on the side of a car, but on the hood of the car, on the passenger side, but very much so on the top of the car. You're telling me that a person who's looking out of their windshield can't see somebody or something hit the hood of their car? I got a really hard time even conceiving that. So this is the last thing I'm gonna say, Matt, and then I please jump in. The other thing that you can do, this is Lamar County Sheriff Department, Lamar County's District Attorney's Office. We need to be asking and demanding to them, because they said they wanted new evidence. Now they got new evidence. Reopen the case, reopen the investigation, secure the indictment, and make the indictment happen. Whatever you was being soft on before, go back and look at all of the things you ignored. Look at the fact, because you did not present in the first trial, that they did not file an insurance claim. That in itself is devious. If you don't file a claim on something like that, you're hiding something.
Especially when you pay insurance.
Right. So you're hiding something. So what we need to do is raise hell about the things we know weren't presented as evidence and challenge to make their evidence, man. And challenge them to use the knowledge we do have about this case to get this back before a grand jury so that it can then be indicted properly and tried properly. I wish that the family could pick their own lawyer when it comes to criminal prosecution. Of course, we all have to be represented by the district attorney's office in those instances.
That's why I file a civil suit.
Right.
Do what they do to us when they don't do what they did to OJ.
Opportunity, man. I know we got another subject that we was talking about tonight, but I appreciate
No. CJ, so let me say this, right?
It's all
related. Let's play into the stereotypes, right? So like the stereotype, they think all black folks can dance, right? We know that most white boys know trucks. So we just got rid of our 4Runner. 4Runners traditionally sit up high. Most 4Runners, depending on what package you get, is on a truck chassis. So they're on the same chassis as the Toyota Tacoma.
Yep.
A small dog or animal, you would have ran it over. You would not have seen it, meaning that it would not have popped up and hit the hood. That means that what you hit had to be large enough, because listen to what I'm saying. That means the force threw them on top of the hood to bend the hood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if it was
Right.
if it was something smaller, it would have went under the truck, and
Right.
you would have had damage in the undercarriage. But most forerunners got a skid plate right
Right.
under the engine.
Mm-hmm.
because of
So that lets you
off-road package.
Right. And that's the
because of
thing,
off-road package.
Mac, you are explaining the physics properly. Donovan was probably about 6'2", 6'3". So I mean, it lines up perfectly with what you're saying. And that man was driving so fast that it literally hit Donovan very hard, y'all. Like to the point where it knocked him back very far, off into like a ditch or a ravine. I don't know how to describe it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've gone to the scene of the accident. I don't know how. Like, I have driven down my road coming back from your house through Wiggins because it was also dark, and I took a photograph of driving down that road, looking out the window from the left to the right, and I said, I don't know how it's possible if you are looking at the road, if you're paying attention to the road,
right,
to not see what's going on both sides of the road. If you are looking out your windshield, no matter how dark it is. So I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing at the time that he hit him, but I know that he hit him. The evidence is there that he hit him. His DNA is on the vehicle. Okay, so there's no
DNA
question
confirmed on the vehicle.
Right, DNA and blood was confirmed. That dent didn't come from nowhere. So we know those things. We know that they didn't file an insurance claim. We know he called his mama and went there, and then him and his mama together went back to the scene and said that they looked and didn't find anything. Right? Evidently, it didn't look hard enough because he was there. He was there, and Donovan's family went back and found him there. And D says that he was more so closer to 5'11". So I misstated. At one time, it was my understanding he was over 6 feet, but he's still large enough to where it was noticeable.
I mean, I know some 5'11" receivers that are large individuals.
I'm 5'11", so I mean, I feel like, you know, he would have seen me if he was trying to see me. I don't know if, you know, it could have been a number of things. He could have been on his cell phone at the time, texting or something, and wasn't paying attention. All I know is whatever he was doing,
See, you know, all this shit that you're saying, if it had been one of our folks, would have came into question. Regardless of the fact, they would check his history to see if he had history of alcohol.
They would have subpoenaed his phone records to see if
they would have tried hard.
They would have subpoenaed his records, and I asked them all these questions. I asked the DA all of these questions, man. I said, did you subpoena his phone records? Did you subpoena his apps? Did you subpoena every app he has on his phone to see if the app was open at the time, to see if the app was being used at the time? And the reality is they don't be knowing this shit, and they don't like when our asses be knowing this shit and be smart asking them this shit. They don't. I mean, when I tell you they were red in their faces when we were asking them questions about the things they could have done that they clearly did not do, when we were asking them about the expertise on the driving, they didn't even understand the in my opinion, they did not understand the analysis and the data that was given on the machines from the truck at the time of the accident. The truck indicated that there was 3 rollover events that occurred during that accident. So you're telling me this truck tilted on its side multiple times as a result of this accident, and this man didn't stop immediately because it didn't roll over, it didn't flip over. So a rollover event can be if you go rock to one side, rock to the other side, and rock back again to the side again. But
he followed instructions, CJ. You know, he followed instructions. If you ever have a problem, the first thing you do is call home. That's what
all I can say is read between lines. That's all I can say about that part right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I have to try to, but I feel I feel like what you're saying is accurate.
First thing he did, he called his mama, and he went and got with her. And then
first thing I can't say what he did this time. It is my understanding that there's a pattern of things as it relates to a lot of this.
Yes.
So the young man that killed somebody, I forgot what state it was in. He had his own house, right? And when he went to court, the defense used a term that is not in the DSM-5 or the DSM-4. And the DSM-4, DSM-5, that is the book that you use with mental health diagnosis. They say he suffered from affluenza.
Oh, affluenza.
Because,
I remember that. Was that on the East Coast or was that on the East Coast somewhere?
And because he had not been used to hearing the word no, that's what led to the situation. So you tell me you so spoiled and so goddamn entitled that now you're using that as an excuse for what you did, and they try to justify it in a court of law that he suffered from affluenza, that he was from such an affluent community and an affluent household.
White privilege as a defense.
You should just been better off just saying white privilege. Mm-hmm. If you had said white privilege, it would have been a lot better than just saying affluenza, right? But I mean, so why can't we use poverty? Why we can't use trauma?
I think
why can't we use any of that shit? Right.
I think Darian is agreeing with your perspective, Mac. So yeah, and that's what he said. We never made it to court. They never let it go. They never let it come into the actual court. We never got a trial. And it's my belief that based on the lackluster performance of them in an inability to get an indictment, that they still may not have ever gotten secured a conviction, because a conviction requires a level of passion and commitment and attention to detail that they've just failed to have from the outset. When I tell you that
there was no concern,
right? When I tell you that Darian and his sister Denisha were on top of it, we went into that room with his office, and we picked this case apart in a way that the people that he paid to do it, the people that get paid to do it from the ADA's office, did not pick this case apart. They did not ask the questions that we were asking because their heart was not there like ours is, right?
But you know what? You know they fucked up, CJ.
Because I'm telling y'all, if there is instantly, it should have been a red flag when they did not call the insurance company at least a day after the he probably should have called them immediately. But when they didn't contact the insurance company a day after, they didn't contact them 2 weeks later, they didn't contact them after he turned himself in. That means they never wanted a paper trail in this. If something did happen, they didn't. They did not want that. They was never gonna say a word if a word wasn't said.
Yep.
But you know, right now, CJ, the person that was involved that helped them put this shit together is losing their shit, because now there's a chance that once this continue on, whoever assisted them,
there you go,
can be brought back up. And right now, that person is losing their shit, because they're like, how this little whatever you want to call him do this, and I'm telling you right now, to be a fly.
So think about the highest level. Highest level of investigation. Think about the highest level of investigation at the county level. Think about the highest level of investigation at the county level. Think about the highest person in the highest position at the county level. If you have an investigation in your hands, and somehow you provide the information to the DA's office, right? And whatever you provide to the DA's office isn't sufficient enough for the DA to secure a conviction. Now, what I'll say is, or even secure an indictment. But if you are the DA's office and you get this information, and all I would have needed,
if the information is provided to you, if it makes it to your desk,
I would never be a DA personally. Like I ain't built like that. But if I was, and you gave me a SUV with a motherfucking dent on the hood, you think I couldn't get a grand jury to see what I'm seeing? If you gave me that, and then you told me that these people did not call insurance that night after this big ass dent on this motherfucking hood happened, If you told me that, you think I couldn't make a grand jury understand that something intentional happened here? If it didn't, I ain't saying it was intentional at the time of the actual wreck, but something something in your mind formed after that fact that was an intentional act. And when you formed that intentional act, you made the decision at that point in time that whatever happened and whatever happens after that, I'm okay with, as long as it don't come back on me. And that's what they were okay with. And that's what our argument and position is. And it's my belief, my sincere belief. I'm getting emotional about it, but I'm being sincere.
Yes.
From a legal standpoint, I see no way where if you have those things in place and you desire, at the very least, just to get an indictment, that you fail to do so. In the same city, and in the same city where they just got a conviction on a murder for the same thing.
So let me ask you this, CJ. Do Lamar County have a special election in November? And if so, what seat is it? Or what position?
I would say that people need to call into question the competency of the highest investigating officer and call into question again, like I said, man, it's not typically my position to be pushing for people to be indicted on things. And I'm a criminal defense attorney by nature, a civil rights attorney by nature. But the reality is what I want is justice and balance. If you're going to be passionate in how you pursue justice when it's us that you're attempting to prosecute, I'm just asking that you be as passionate in how you do it. We've asked the Attorney General's office to step in and appoint a special prosecutor, but the way that the current Attorney General's office is set up, I'm not sure how enthusiastic they would be to do that. I think that we do need to let people know that is a level of accountability that needs to be had. I think that the men in these positions need to their competency needs to be called into question, because if it wasn't enough, if it wasn't called into question before, based on the investigation and the prosecution that occurred, then it certainly should be now that we have further facts that support what our perspective was initially.
Yes. And
that is that they weren't looking at everything they should have been looking at. And because they didn't, somebody else almost died today.
CJ, let me ask you a question. Lamar County, what congressional district is that?
Man, I do not know what congressional district Lamar County is in.
I'm saying,
on that one.
Hold on, I got you.
Hold on. CJ, when you listen,
go ahead, man.
We're going somewhere with this. Go ahead, Chuck. Tell me who it is.
U.S. congressional district. I'm tripping. It's the dude that just got elected that took Palazzo position.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the fourth congressional district. It's
Mike
Ezel.
Yeah. I thought it was 4. All right.
Yeah.
So CJ, here's what you do tomorrow. As the attorney, you need to write his office, tell him what's happening about the injustice, and tell you why. Because next year, right, they up for re-election, 26.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to bring this to light and write his office and get them involved. Because if nothing else, you want to make sure that you do your due diligence here in this situation, because you're going to want to get reelected.
Right. Now that's a great point. That's an excellent point. We should do the same thing with the senators as well.
Senators 6 years, but congressional is next year. He's running for reelection next year.
We should definitely turn up on that. And this is the thing. He's a former sheriff himself. Mike Ezel is. So he's a former sheriff himself, which, they love, right? Right now they love being tough on crime, right? But it's, that's they only
when the crimes are like us.
So all we're saying is like, just be balanced. If you're gonna be that, then just be that across the board.
An equitable application of the law.
Justice is not blind. It's a peephole right there. That damn handkerchief is see through. You see exactly what the hell you're doing, right? Them scales off.
Application of the law is what folks are seeking right now.
All right, Chuck, we got 1 minute after 10. What we doing?
Look, I would say this. I think we can come back with some action steps if we need to do, you know, like another live update. We can schedule that.
Okay.
One of the things that I would like to just to bring in here to wrap, not necessarily wrap the conversation, but kind of you know, maybe, you know, put a pause on some things. Um we know that a lot of us rep our HBCUs. We love the nostalgia. We love you know, going to the tailgates and all of that. But it's moments like these where a member of our broader community, like, you know, this is a state or regional thing, more specifically a county, where somebody needs our assistance. How are we activating around something like this? How easy is it for us to activate around things that truly matter? We know how difficult it is to get people to sign up or to register for something that is free. For something that is a little bit more involved, such as this, how do we activate people around this? And I think, you know, the HBCU graduates that came before us, they got out there and got in them streets. Mac and I had a conversation with Nashambi Lambright's mother, Miss Betty, and she told us about how they would go to places and spaces in the middle of the night. They would crawl through the grass, get up to these people's door, because, well, not door, but to their window, because they knew that these homes, these people were being watched by the people that did not want them to register to vote. So I'm asking the question, are we still down? Are we still down to be a part of our alumni associations? Are we still down to be a part of organizations like Mississippi Move that get out, go to the blues festival, talk to drunk folks while they just got done listening to Kingfish and King George and every other king besides King Jesus? Shout out to the Rapture and all of that. Just jokes, but just serious. Are we really down though? Are we really about that life? And
That's fact.
some folks, I don't think they really about that life, man.
Yep.
And I can understand to some extent that, you know, some people are scared because they have kids, but you should be that should motivate you even more because you have kids, because the person that was driving a vehicle, the person that was walking, they're somebody's child.
Yeah.
So when we say, are we still down? How, if you can't be out there on the ground, what are you investing in? If you can't be there physically, how are you baking the biscuits? And I know a lot of times, I mean, that's one of my things, man. I say that even when I go somewhere and I live stream something, and it's something that we put on Black Widow Chaser, and we do that in a way where it has legs to go past the room. That's my way of baking the biscuits, because I know I'm not finna be in the courtroom with CJ. That's the courtroom. Now I might have to be outside like the deacons of the fence at some point, but I'm waiting for the call. That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
so
sir.
I think our HBCUs gave us foundation, they gave us culture, they gave us community. But it's some of us, whether you went to a PWI or HBCU or whether you just go to the football game, you need to ask yourself that question: how down are you? And I think with that, we'll be in touch with next steps in terms of how you can activate, who you can call, in terms of the Lamar County Sheriff's Office, these Senate seats, these congressional seats. There are people, and honestly, man, D and Denisha done put everybody that we need to reach out to, or that we need to be taking our and activating around. They done put them in the comments.
Right.
They put them there. So
they done talked a little noise in the comment. D done talked a little noise in the comment too.
But shit, I was just talking. I ain't even, let me see what D done said.
He talking about he a Morehouse. He talking noise about everybody else. We gonna get on you. We'll get at you.
Argue with your brothers. Oh Lord, hold on there. Hold on there. You remember this Tougaloo right here, boy.
Uh-huh.
But in all seriousness though, look, let's activate and let's stay activated.
Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all, bro.
Let's do this.
Thank y'all for letting us jump on tonight, man, and do this. I know this is what y'all do every day. You know what I'm saying? So I know this is what you committed to, and so I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely, man. And we inviting everybody to Tougaloo Alumni Weekend. Friends and alumni, get to the gate. The phrase "get to the gate" has a loaded meaning. We get to the gate, for times to recharge now, but in years past, getting to the gate was something that we had to do so that we could be safe. That's so right. we invite you to get to the gate. We welcome you to Lou City. If you would like to support the things that we're doing, you can go to tougalooalumni.com, register for the events and activities, buy a ticket to the Cheryl Underwood hosted Showtime at the Lou. We have an awesome lineup of individuals that will be gracing us with their presence during the comedy portion of Showtime at the Lou. And I'm pulling up that flyer right now, just so you all can see that. We definitely want to thank them for their support of Tougaloo and support of Mississippi Move. This is October 9th, Thursday. We got a $2,500 cash prize for the best act. And we also have the 500 comedy spotlight. Important Jordan, Nardo Blackman, Zion Ross, Big Mooch, Yusef Gray will all be gracing the stage, along with the contestants that will compete for the $2,500 cash prize. If you're interested in signing up, you can go to that link that I just shared, tougalooalumni.com. Just look for that ticket where you can sign up, and someone will be in touch with you soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't invest in our institutions, we can't get to where the money resides. And we got to get there, baby. The week after next. Every 2 weeks, Nightcap Knowledge, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. We appreciate y'all for tapping in, tuning in. Share this with somebody. Get active in the comments, and we will see y'all on the next time. Peace. What a money reside.